Marcus wiped the sweat from his brow as he pushed his cart down the marble hallway of Sterling Industries' 42nd floor. The gleaming corporate tower stretched endlessly above him, each floor a testament to wealth he'd never know. His calloused hands gripped the mop handle tighter as he thought about the overdue rent notice, tucked in his wallet, and his daughter Emma's worried face when he'd left for work that morning. She was only 8, but she understood more than any child should about empty refrigerators and turned off electricity. The janitor's uniform hung loose on his thin frame, faded blue fabric that had seen countless washings. Marcus had been cleaning these floors for 3 years now, invisible to the executives who hurried past him in their tailored suits. He was just part of the building's infrastructure, as unremarkable as the fluorescent lights or the humming air conditioning. But tonight was different. Tonight, he would become the most important person in the room. The boardroom doors stood open, revealing a scene that would have intimidated most people. 25 of the country's most powerful business leaders sat around a mahogany table that probably cost more than Marcus made in a year. At the head sat CEO Victoria Sterling, her silver hair pulled back in a severe bun, her steel gray eyes scanning documents that would reshape thousands of lives. With a single signature, "Gentlemen, ladies," Victoria's voice cut through the murmur of conversation like a blade. "We're here to finalize the Clearwater acquisition. $3 billion will net us their manufacturing facilities, their patents, and most importantly, their market share in the Midwest." Marcus had been mopping the same spot for 5 minutes, his movements automatic while his mind raced. He'd grown up in Clearwater, Ohio, a small town where everyone knew everyone, where his grandmother had worked at the same factory for 30 years, before retiring with a pension that kept her comfortable. That factory was the heart of the community, employing nearly half the town's population. "The due diligence reports are comprehensive," continued James Morrison, the chief financial officer, his voice carrying the confidence of someone who'd never worried about his next meal. "We can increase efficiency by 40% through automation and strategic workforce reduction." Strategic workforce reduction. The corporate euphemism hit Marcus like a physical blow. He knew what that meant. His cousin Tony, who'd worked quality control for 15 years, his high school friend Sarah, who'd managed to buy her first house last year on her factory supervisor's salary, his elderly neighbor Mrs. Chen, who'd been saving for her grandson's college tuition with her assembly line wages. "How many positions are we talking about?" asked board member Patricia Hawthorne, her Hermes pen poised over her tablet. "Roughly 800 jobs initially," Morrison replied with the casual air of someone discussing the weather. "The town's unemployment rate will spike temporarily, but market forces will eventually correct the imbalance." Market forces. Marcus's grandmother's face flashed in his mind. The woman who'd raised him after his parents died, who'd taught him that a person's worth wasn't measured in dollars, but in how they treated others. She'd been gone for 2 years now, but her voice still echoed in his memory. "Marcus, honey, sometimes the right thing and the easy thing are two different paths. A good man always chooses the right one, even when it costs him." The janitor's hands trembled as he wrung out his mop. 800 families, 800 breadwinners who would go home tomorrow, not knowing that their livelihoods hung in the balance, decided by people who'd never set foot in their town, never shared a meal at their kitchen tables, never watched their children's faces light up on Christmas morning because mom and dad could afford that bike or that doll. "The environmental impact assessment is clean," reported another board member, shuffling through papers. "The EPA gave preliminary approval for our modified operations. We'll meet all federal requirements while maximizing profitability." Marcus knew about those modified operations. He'd overheard enough conversations during his 3 years of invisible service to understand that Sterling Industries planned to gut the factory's safety redundancies, reduce waste treatment protocols to the bare minimum, and eliminate the community programs that had made Clearwater a place where families could thrive. The numbers swam before his eyes as he remembered last summer's town picnic, when the factory had sponsored the entire event. Kids had run through sprinklers while their parents laughed and shared stories over barbecue. The company had provided scholarship money for graduating seniors, funded the Little League, and supported the food bank during tough times. All of that would vanish with the stroke of a pen. "Are we ready to vote?" Victoria's voice carried the authority of someone accustomed to obedience. "All in favor of proceeding with the Clearwater acquisition." Hands began to rise round the table. Marcus watched in horror as one by one the board members sealed the fate of his hometown. These people had never known the weight of choosing between groceries and medicine, had never felt the panic of a child asking why the lights wouldn't turn on, had never experienced the quiet desperation of watching a community slowly die. His cleaning cart rattled as his hands shook. The sound echoed in the boardroom, causing several heads to turn in his direction. For a moment, Marcus met Victoria Sterling's eyes. Cold, calculating, efficient, she looked at him the way someone might notice a piece of furniture, acknowledging his presence without truly seeing him. But Marcus saw her. He saw all of them, and in that moment, he understood that silence made him complicit in what was about to happen. Stop. The word escaped his lips before he could stop it, barely above a whisper, but somehow carrying across the room like a thunderclap. The boardroom fell silent, 25 pairs of eyes turning to focus on the janitor in the corner. "Excuse me." Victoria's voice was ice cold, her eyebrows raised in disbelief. Marcus swallowed hard, his throat suddenly dry. "Stop the $3 billion deal." The silence that followed was deafening. Board members exchanged glances, some amused, others annoyed at the interruption. Morrison started to speak, probably to call security. But Victoria held up a hand. "I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson." "Marcus Johnson." His voice was stronger now, fueled by the faces of everyone he'd grown up with. "I'm from Clearwater, ma'am. Born and raised, Mr. Johnson. I'm sure you mean well, but this is a private board meeting. Perhaps you could finish your cleaning duties." "And my daughter Emma is 8 years old," Marcus interrupted, his voice gaining strength. "She asks me every day why we can't buy the name brand cereal like other kids. She pretends not to notice when I water down the milk to make it last longer. She's never been to Disneyland, never had a birthday party with more than 2 friends, never owned a toy that wasn't from a thrift store." The room was completely still now. Victoria's expression had shifted from annoyance to something Marcus couldn't quite read. "I tell her that Daddy works hard, that things will get better, that good people in this world care about each other. But right now, you're about to destroy 800 families just like mine, and I can't stay quiet anymore." "Mr. Johnson," Victoria said carefully, "I understand your concerns, but business decisions require. Do you know what it's like to choose between your child's medicine and the electricity bill?" Marcus's voice cracked with emotion. "Have you ever had to tell your daughter that Santa might not come this year because Daddy's hours got cut? Have you ever walked through a grocery store with $30 and tried to figure out how to feed your family for a week?" The board members shifted uncomfortably. Some looked down at their hands, others at their phones. Anywhere but at the janitor whose raw honesty was cutting through their carefully constructed world. "Mrs. Chen lives next door to us," Marcus continued, his voice steadier now. "She's 62 years old, been working at that factory for 20 years. She's saving every penny for her grandson's college fund, because she wants him to have opportunities she never had. Her husband died last year, and that job is all she has left. What happens to her when you automate her position away?" Victoria's hand had moved away from her pen. Her steel gray eyes were fixed on Marcus's face, and something in her expression had changed. "My friend Sarah just bought her first house. She's a single mom. Worked double shifts for 3 years to save for that down payment. Her kids finally have their own rooms, their own backyard. She cried when she got the keys because she never thought she'd be able to give them that. Your strategic workforce reduction is going to take that away from her." The room was so quiet that Marcus could hear the hum of the air conditioning, the distant sound of traffic 42 floors below. His heart was pounding, but he couldn't stop now. "I know I'm just a janitor. I know I don't have a college degree or a fancy suit or a seat at your table. But I know those people. I know their names, their stories, their dreams. They're not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They're human beings with families and hopes and fears, just like you." Marcus took a deep breath, his voice softening. "My grandmother used to say that the measure of a person isn't how much money they make, but how they treat people who can't do anything for them. Right now, you have the power to help 800 families or hurt them. I'm asking you, no, I'm begging you, to choose kindness." The silence stretched. "Oh,